And we're live for the September Patron Hangout. I'm glad to have some of my biggest contributors here with us tonight, this afternoon. I'm really glad that you guys have continued supporting me and the channel and everything that I've been doing. But, first, before I get into talking about what I've been doing this month and what I'm going to be doing next month, I want to hear from you guys. What have you guys thought? You guys have continued supporting me and the channel and everything that I've been doing. But,
Echo.
Yeah. The hell did that come from?
I don't know. It's gone now, so yay! But yeah, I'm opening up the floor to you guys. Jeremy here is a really close friend. He's helped me out a lot with a bunch of different things, like with IRT. I did an interview with him concerning ASPD atheists, and so. He's our special guest for this month, and I'm opening it up to you guys. What have you guys thought of the past month in general on the channel, or anything else that you want to talk about?
Well, there was one thing that came up recently that you put on your channel about Kim Davis, and here in the UK, when we see somebody doing what she did, that's kind of really bizarre. And I don't understand why we can't remove her from her position, or sack her, or fire her, you know. What's up with that? Why can't we get rid of her?
Well, we could. We would have to impeach her. Is what we'd have to do, and there's actually a legal process for that because she's like an elected position, is what it is, and so it's not just a simple matter of just firing her or anything like that, which a lot of people kind of think that it's a simple matter of just firing her, but it's really not. And I wish that we could just toss her out. I wish we would impeach her for not doing it, because she's still not doing her job. I think even after she got even after she got released, she is.
But she still wants to get paid. I love that.
Yeah. She wants to get paid. She wants to have these special rights, which I think is still pretty hilarious that she wants all these special rights.
Yes.
Yeah. But then she acts like she acts like the LGBT community is asking for special rights, which, I mean, this is a common narrative, but I wish that we could get rid of her, just simply boot her out, but it would be a pretty long process, not just long, but official.
Yeah, she's kind of like a senator or governor almost, where her job is. Like John said, she's an elected official. So elected officials in our country have a lot of impunity. They really have to screw up big for us to get rid of them. I mean, Bill Clinton. Look at him. He lied in front of Congress and Senate, and he was still able to last his last 2 years in office before getting booted. Without getting booted, I guess you could say. And lying in front of Congress is huge. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I saw a conversation between you, Paul, and I think it's a new person on the channel, talking about, that we should ignore Kim Davis and whatnot, which I think that you were more or less talking about the major news outlets, not really, the community in general, or were you talking about the community in general?
No. What I was saying was that she's had a little bit of infamy on the news networks, and she's obviously an idiot to any rational person who kind of like looks at what's been going on. And I think that it's about time that we just stopped giving her that coverage on the news, and because we don't want people like that promoting their bigotry. you know. So that was kind of my thing.
Yeah,
I
Well,
agree.
that's always been the problem, is that we give idiots a damn platform to keep spreading this bullshit. And
Because
as
it's
long as we're
entertaining.
willing,
It's entertaining and it's ratings.
well,
Period. That's why the news networks keep doing it.
entertaining is subjective.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's kind of like a train wreck. You just can't look away. But I mean, I do think that we need, like, the major media outlets needs to stop really covering her, because it's like I forget about her, and I honestly don't even think to bring her up at all. And then it's like something else happens in the news, and it's like centered around Kim Davis, and it's like you just can't get away from it.
It's
I mean,
just like
think
the
about it.
crap with her meeting with the Pope.
I mean, that's exactly how Howard Stern got his rise to fame. You know, half of the people were interested in what he had to say, and half the people were just like, "What is he going to say next?" But nobody
Yeah.
really liked what he had to say at first. But because he was put on a major news platform, he got a lot of publicity, and he became famous. So he was impossible to get rid of. Kim Davis is much in the same way, where now she's become infamous, but she still has that famous in that word. So the news is going to cover her because they know people are going to watch, and that means ratings for them, and that means money.
Right. Yeah, and I'm kind of curious, what do you guys think about the Pope talking to Kim Davis and kind of throwing support her way?
Completely hypocritical.
I've got a different view upon it. A lot of people, especially liberals, I've noticed in America, really support the Pope because of his more socialist ideals. I still don't like the guy because he still covers up for kitty fuckers, and that is a deal breaker for me. Once you do that, I don't like you anymore. But anything that he says, because he's supporting defending child molesters, is a wash with me. So anything I see him do is kind of evil.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think that I have the same view as you. I mean, to be perfectly honest, a lot of people nowadays are treating the Catholic Church and the Pope in general like the Pope is just a big pile of sprinkles, and they're putting that on a big pile of shit, and they're acting like it's chocolate ice cream, you know? And it's just, I think it's ridiculous. And I always get called out, on the page or anywhere whenever I say that particular comparison, because they're all like, well, things are getting better. I mean, he's better than the last one. It's like, he's not. I mean, he's a good PR guy. I mean, he's definitely putting a good face on the Catholic Church, but he's not actually changing policies or anything like that. He still passed a resolution that protected, people from, or protected pedophiles within the Vatican, and stop people from leaking information outside the Vatican and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, he's still doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. And but one thing I'd like to say is that this new Pope did say that atheists could get into heaven, so bonus.
But there's no heaven, so it doesn't matter. But the one thing that I do agree with him upon is that he does support research into global climate change. And, he's a chemist. He's got a chemist background. And if you know a little bit about chemistry or physics, you understand why and how climate change is happening. And I just think it's so funny that when he says one thing about, like, the LGBT community, conservatives are right there supporting him, but as soon as he talks about climate change, like, oh, fuck this Pope. It shows how much, like, they flip-flop. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there going, I don't care what he says, fuck him anyway,
Yeah. Well, when you have your employees that are confused as to whether or not a child can consent, to sex. I mean, that's I mean, how can you really defend, your employees when they're acting like that? Because I mean, there have been several cases where they have acted like they were confused as to whether or not a child, could consent, and a lot of times they would answer in the affirmative that a child can consent, or that the child was at fault.
That one pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because I mean, back in the day, they used to what they used to do? They used to blind them or make them deaf or something like that. You know, they used to blame the child for the priest's wrongdoing, and then they used to punish them in like the cruelest way possible by taking away one of their senses. I couldn't remember which one it is right now, but god damn, and they're basically still practicing this by taking away their speech. You know?
Yeah. And to answer Amanda's question in the comments, yes, I am sick. I have a sinus thing going on, and so that's why I sound all nasally right now.
It seems to be going around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the changing of the season, especially down here in Alabama. We got there's like these little white bugs that like pop out of nowhere, and they fly everywhere, and it was causing havoc with me yesterday. But anyways, but yeah, so screw the Pope. There's another there's another thing that I was kind of wanting to talk to you guys about, and that was the "In God We Trust" stuff that's getting put on the police cars. It seems like that they're running rampant around here in America. I'm assuming Paul doesn't really have that particular problem, but
they have Darwin on their money. Come on.
Yeah. But I mean, what do you guys think about those situations? Do you think that that's being too picky about it, or do you think that it's kind of an important issue to fight?
I'm a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Number one, I lose faith in a entity that's supposed to help me out in a time of crisis, who believes in the visible sky man. So that kind of bothers me. I do see it as a little bit on the petty side, but here's the two things. Like, the sheriff who's been responding with the the Freedom for Religion Foundation. He said, "Well, I bought these with my own money." Yeah, but you didn't buy the squad car with your own money. You know, that's still, but it does seem like the majority of people in that area do support it. So that's why I also kind of see it as a petty thing, because I'm not from there. If it happened up in my neighborhood, then maybe I would care a little bit more. But it happened in a place 2,000 miles away from me. So it's a little bit difficult for me to really, I don't see why I should have a voice about it. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't my money that went to it. It's theirs. Their local, government paid for that car. And if the vast majority, that's how a democracy is supposed to work. So that's why I'm kind of hands off about this conversation.
Yeah, but I think that it's important that you speak up against things that that you disagree with. If you disagree with that, even if it's in a different geographical location to where you live, it's really important that you kind of put your voice out there and say, I don't accept this. Yeah.
Well, I have, in the capacity of when he said that he paid for the sticker out of his own pocket. I did say, yeah, but you didn't pay for the car. So that was as much as, because what if 100% of the people whose tax dollars went towards that car agreed with the statement? So I can see it that way too. I don't know if that's true. I'm just doing a what if. I got to be able to see things from both sides. I'm not that militant that I'm like, no, you can't do that, automatically, because what if the people who did pay for that car like it? It's their decision. It's their choice.
Okay.
What about you, Lucy?
Personally, I just want to go scrape every damn one of them off because it annoys the shit out of me. Go replace them with little Darwin stickers everywhere. I'm good with, you know what, if you're going to put that on there, you better be dropping religious stickers all over the damn thing. You better be putting non-religious stickers on it. If you're going to cover your constituents, cover your constituents.
Yeah,
Put a sticker on it.
Well, I know one particular reasoning for paying for it, out of public funds, is one person actually used this. They said that, well, since our money has "In God We Trust" on it, we figured that it was okay to buy "In God We Trust" stickers for the vehicles, and so it's like.
I hate that he said. I hate that the sheriff said it's our country's motto. That
Yeah.
Oh my god, that made my skin crawl. I'm like, no, it's not, dude. It's our motto against communism for nothing more.
Yeah, well, you know what's interesting about that is that I've actually got a video on my channel about this. Is the truth behind "In God We Trust," and that's that it's a Christian God that they are referencing in this. So a lot of people like to spout the idea that it's a generic kind of God or a general kind of God, a deistic kind of God, but it's really not. It's a Christian God. And so when you put that on there, it's like "In God We Trust." It's like in the Christian God we trust. And I mean, not everybody trusts in that God. Not everybody believes in that God. So me personally, I'm very against police entities or public entities putting that on the vehicles, just because it's not indicative of the entire population. Now, I do think that you make a good point, Jeremy, if like the entire city or whatnot, votes 100% to put it on there, that kind of means that there's nobody that doesn't trust in that. So I kind of see an argument for that, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it's kind of like it's part of. There's got to be that federal baseline of things, and I think that making all the public entities secular is kind of like part of that baseline, and so that's just how I kind of see it, and that's why
I agree. I do agree with you, but I do think it should be federal.
Yeah. I do see how some things of this nature might seem petty to people, but it's just one of those times when I just have to be like, I know that it kind of seems petty, but I've got to be consistent with myself,
Yeah, I
Guys,
agree.
I'm going to have to excuse myself for just a minute. I need to go check on somebody.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right, but while Lucy is away, I kind of wanted to get into some of the things that I have planned for the channel, and then maybe we can round off the hour with talking about some more current events. But as you guys know, I had a PastaCon this month. And I've released a few videos, and sadly enough, my hard drive that I had all my video stuff on crashed. And so I lost a good chunk of the video that I recorded. But I do have some pretty important videos that I had uploaded to YouTube and made them private. One of them is God Works Out. I've got his interview up here, and then I have Matt Dillahunty and Stephanie Gatormson. I have all three of those interviews from the event. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut those together how I'd already planned them out and post them up. But I didn't get a chance to put. I had James, D. Wayne, Pimp Monk, and I think those were the only other ones that I would be missing. So I'm not going to be able to put those guys up there, but I am going to get to put. Dan Arl. Crap, I forgot. I lost the rest of Dan Arl's interview.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. Anyways. But I'm going to be putting those up. I'm kind of curious. How do you guys like those interviews that I posted? Because I did it a little bit different than I did the other ones. Where I kind of cut them up by subject rather than by person. So I'm kind of curious. How do you guys like how I did that? Do you think that there's anything I can do better?
Well, I saw the one that you posted with Matt Dillahunty the day, a couple of days ago, I think. I thought that was a great interview. I've always been some. I've always been kind of a fan of Matt Dillahunty because he speaks with he has a very intuitive way of looking at the world, and it's logical and it's rational and it's reason based, and he reads a lot on philosophy and stuff, and so when he talks about things like theology and that, he's really informative. And when I saw him talk to you at the Apostacon video, I thought, yeah, that was really great. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah, I know that I have other portions of his interview in the other videos. Do you think it'd be a good idea to post up just his interview by itself, like complete, or?
Well, I can't get enough of Matt Dillahunty, so if you want to post up like the whole thing, you post it up and I'll watch it, and because I tune into the Atheist Experience every Sunday, and I've been doing that for a long time, like 7-8 years, and maybe once or twice I disagree with him, but we don't all agree on everything with each other all the time. But I think for the most part, he does a lot of good for the atheist community. So yeah, you know, post everything.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I still want to cut together by subject and have that up there, but I'll definitely cut out Dillahunty's interview and post that up by itself, because I know a lot of people just like to hear Matt speak, and I know I've even said that to him myself. So I had that. I was going pretty hard with the Did Jesus Exist episodes. I'm busy working on writing more of those up, as well as I'm gonna try to start doing the logical fallacy videos again. The Apostacon trip kind of threw a wrench in my flow that I had going, so I'm gonna try to get back into the flow of that. How do you guys? I don't know, Paul, if you really watch my logical fallacy series or my
do.
Jesus. Yeah, okay. How are those going? Do you like how I've been doing them? Do you like the setup, the visual appearance, and everything like that?
Well, the reason I don't comment too much on your fallacy videos is because I agree with everything that you say. So it's kind of like I watch it and it's like, yeah, that's fine, and then I go on to another YouTube video. When I post on your videos, it's usually when I find some discrepancy and I want to talk to you about it. But yeah, fallacies are fallacies. I mean, we all know what they are, and the atheists in our community, they're kind of like, I don't know, they kind of own the fallacies because it's the religious people who make the mistakes, and we have to keep pointing it out to them all the time. And that's what fallacies are all about, you know. So,
I'd just like to interject and say that atheists are not absolved from committing fallacies. I see it all the time. Right. So we have to just make sure that the reason why I appreciate that series is because it's telling the people in our own community, to double check what they're saying or doing.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of curious. Do you guys find those videos informative? Like, am I talking about stuff that you already know about, or is it new? Is it any kind of new thing?
Personally, I deal with it on a daily basis a lot, so it's not anything new for me. But I think it is important. I'm pretty sure it is new to other people. So, I think it's important.
Well, see, one of my main goals with the series is to take relevant, current stuff that's being shared around, and break it down in a logical manner, and point out where the problems lie in it. And so, whenever if somebody's like, because I don't know if you guys have ever had that feeling of, I know this is wrong, I don't know why it's wrong. And
Yeah.
so that's one of my goals of that particular series. So that's what I'm going to try to be focusing on is taking some of the current videos that are being pushed around and really analyze them so that if somebody's like, I don't know how this is wrong, and then they find the video and it's like, oh, okay, that's how it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'd just like to say that when I spoke earlier about atheists and fallacies, yeah, atheists are vulnerable to making fallacious remarks. We all know that. Not all atheists in the community are cool and speaking right. We know that. But I think that most of the fallacies do come from the religious side. I mean, if you look at things like well, I don't know, like theodicy. Um, there's no real fallacy in the argument from evil. It's kind of like it works. But if you look at the religious arguments against atheism, like the ontological, the teleological argument from design, all of that stuff, their arguments all fall down. But the argument from evil doesn't. So I kind of feel that that's like a real example of how we're kind of coming from the right place.
It depends on how you view theology. Like, I tend to view it more as a pseudoscience than a philosophy. So when you look at pseudosciences in general, they all come from a fallacious. They all come from fallacious arguments, or that those who subscribe to them use fallacious arguments to defend them. So that's more what I deal with, is pseudoscience as a whole. And then, of course, things like creationism fall under, that umbrella. So I agree with you that, many people who do subscribe to or these things like theology and whatever, they do tend to use more fallacious arguments than those who do not. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying that those who don't subscribe to them are not, they're not immune to using them themselves. Like
Yeah.
those who like citing the Zeitgeist movie or whatever, that movie is video or whatever is a bunch of crap, and they don't realize it. So you got to call those people out too. I just don't like thinking that just because I agree with you on a point, I'm going to agree with everything you say.
Yeah.
That I
true,
think that's false too.
yeah.
No, yeah, I think that was a good point to bring up, Jeremy. So it seems like Lucy is having some trouble at home, so she's not going to be rejoining us for the rest of the hangout. I hope that Ryan gets to feeling better there. So, but anyways, okay. So another thing that I wanted to talk about was some upcoming things that I'm planning on doing. And that's one thing is that I'm going to be putting out more fun fact videos about current politicians. I have about 2 more episodes of both Mike Huckabee and Ben Carson written up that I have to record. And I'm kind of curious. I put out 1 video each on those. How do you guys feel about those?
I liked them. I personally like them, but I just want to go ahead and say how sad it is that Ben Carson is the most educated out of all of the GOP candidates. He has the highest level of education, and he's still a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I mean, even George Bush accepts that evolution is the way that life evolved on Earth, or came to be on Earth.
Which George Bush? W?
Yeah.
Because he said the jury's still out.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
There's go ahead.
During, I don't know if his opinion. Yeah, I'll just go with opinion. I don't know if his opinion changed during his candidacy, but when he was asked during his first debate, when he was debating the first GOP debate, when he was running for office the first time, when he was asked about evolution, he did say that he thought the jury was still out about evolution.
Yeah, he did. When he was in office, he pandered to his most common base. But in the very last interview, like kind of like the exit interview before leaving office, he was talking to somebody and he said that he thinks that evolution is the most probable answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I've actually.
I'm completely cool with people changing their views based upon time, evidence, whatever. So
Yeah.
that's cool that he was able to do that.
Well, there's kind of there's kind of a thing in the UK where we look at George Bush Jr. As somebody who adopted Christianity so that he could win the presidency. Is that something that you're familiar with? Do you think that he became a Christian just so that he could become president?
That's very possible. I mean, his dad didn't really bring up faith that much either during his term as president.
Yeah, but his dad did say something really negative about atheists when he was in office, didn't he? He said that they shouldn't have the vote or something. Yeah?
That was about it, though. Yeah, that was about it. But on a whole, he didn't really bring up theology that much. Not like the candidates today do. When they talk about things like abortion, evolution, or wanting to turn this country into a theocracy. Today, they are much more hard-nosed about religion than they were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it seems like today, like religion is like the central thing that they focus on in a political way, and I really think that that's a bad thing. Now, Stephanie Guttormson, she actually has a radically different opinion than me because I think that if somebody has a religiously based position like political stance, that in the minds of the voters, you shouldn't consider them to be a viable candidate. But, of course, there are a lot of people out there that think that they should still be a candidate. But I don't know. For a secular government, I don't see how anybody that is basing all of their decisions, basing everything on, their religious beliefs, should like it's one thing to have a set of beliefs, but to specify them as being religious beliefs is kind of a different thing. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I don't think that they really are basing what they do upon their religious beliefs. They're cherry picking at best. See, the thing is, the conservatives in this country know that they can't win if they just base their running, just based what they run, like the positions they run on, upon what they really want to do when they're in office, which is pander to the richer people in our country, the most wealthy, the business owners. So they've got to bring faith and religion into the conversation to get the dumbest of our population to vote with them as well. So, but the thing is, they only cherry pick the abortion. They're against abortion, but once that child is born, fuck them. They're screwed because they want to get, like, especially if the mother is like a single mom, not well off. Fuck her, fuck her too. They don't want to give her assistance to make sure the child survives or has any kind of life. They want to cut the kid's education. So yeah, they cherry pick, and what they do is completely freaking hypocritical. So I don't really think that they are basing their positions on their faith, if they have a faith to begin with. I think that they are using their faith to get people to using faith, period, to get people to vote for them, and they don't actually believe in what they're freaking saying. I think they're. I honestly think that the majority of them are sociopathic and narcissistic, and don't actually have a religion. They just say
I agree. I agree.
Well, yeah. I mean, sociopathy is kind of indicative of those leadership positions. But like Mike Huckabee, I mean, he's classically trained as a pastor, and pretty much all of his positions, he directly goes to the Christian God, and so I don't see how somebody can think that we are a secular nation, but which I guess that they aren't really. I mean, I guess you're not really going to be voting for Mike Huckabee if you think that we're a secular nation. So I don't know. Maybe I'm focusing on too small of a group.
Well,
I
I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
Why is his version of God the right one? There's lots of gods. There's thousands of gods. You know, there's Greek gods, there's Roman gods, there's Egyptian gods, there's monotheistic gods, polytheistic gods. Why should his God be the right one? I mean, we're all atheists.
Because he was born in America.
Right. Okay. So he's an atheist to all gods apart from the Christian God, and I mean that's just one God away from me, who's an atheist against all gods. You know.
Yeah,
So it's kind
exactly.
of nuts. You know.
Another thing that I wanted to bring up was, our president is our commander in chief of our military. They are basically in control of our military. Yes, they do have to talk with Congress about any kind of military action, but I don't want a president that sees this life as a dress rehearsal for the next. So, I mean,
Yeah.
because if we had an atheist president, they'd probably be far less likely to send our men and women into the military off to die.
I think you've got
Far
one
less
now.
likely.
I think Obama's an atheist. Would
I
you
think
agree?
he is too. I think at most he's a deist. He claims to be a Christian, but
No, he's just saying
he
that.
hasn't really said anything for me to really believe that.
He has to proclaim some faith.
Well, he had to say that he was a Christian, so the people who believed that he was a Muslim would shut the fuck up.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
Well,
I
well,
think he's too intelligent. I mean, the guy comes across to me here in the UK when I see Obama speak. He's really intelligent, articulate, erudite. I have a lot of respect for him, and I just think he's just too smart to be a theist. I think he must be an atheist, and I think he's pretending to be a theist just so that he can stay where he is. You know?
Yeah, well, we do have this whole thing where, I mean, if you look at polls in the U.S., would you vote for a woman? Would you vote for a black man? Would you vote for a black woman? Would you vote for a Hispanic man? Would you vote for a Hispanic woman? Would you vote for a Muslim? Atheist is always at the bottom of that list with the smallest percentage. Would you vote for an atheist?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's usually like right below rapists. It's like, yeah, we'd rather have a rapist in the presidential office than an atheist. But no, yeah. To kind of move on a little bit, and to give a shout out to the comments section right now. I love having everybody in the comments. I know usually Paul and Jeremy are in the comments section, but we have B, Torva, Max, Hector, Amanda, and
Hey, Hector.
other fabulous people. And if you're watching, please feel free to comment. George is there too. I always like seeing the comments. I try to interact with them as much as I can during these live things. One of the things that I do through with the whole Patreon deal is I provide some kind of exclusive content on Patreon. What I do is I upload a video, make it unlisted, and I post it on the Patreon feed, but it's only for patrons. So, I mean, if you really want to see those particular videos, which most of the time they're either videos that I'm going to go ahead and release publicly anyways, but you're going to get to see them before I release them, or they're raw footage of me before I cut it together and whatnot. That's kind of what I've been doing here lately, is posting up the raw footage. Like I posted up the raw footage of Matt Dillahunty and Stephanie Gatormson. I've posted up raw footage of me responding to some Huckabee stuff. That I'm probably it's Huckabee and Kim Davis. I responded to that. So I'm thinking that I'm going to be doing that more so on that. So I mean, if you would like to see those particular videos, consider contributing $1. It only takes $1 to get the Patreon feed. So consider doing that. Now, there's going to be a video that I'm releasing tomorrow that's going to kind of start off a new series, which I still have to do. I'm still working on the Gnostic Codices series. That's just taken a little bit of time, but there's been this website that really got supported by like the Friendly Atheists and whatnot. But what they did was they took the Sam Harris contradictions graph and they made it dynamic and interactive. And basically, you could type in a question and you get the different Bible verses where it contradicts each other and whatnot. And so what I did was, I started writing up a few episodes where I explained basic questions about the Christian dogma. The first one that's being released tomorrow is how do you cure leprosy? And, if you watch IRT, I kind of gave a little bit of a preview of that. But this way, I've cut it together and I spiced it up a little bit with some colorful metaphors. And so that's going to get released tomorrow, and I hope that you guys really enjoy it. But I already have the first 4 episodes of it shot, and they're going to cover things like whether or not having children is sinful, whether or not it's okay to kill people by the Christian dogma. How many sons does Jesus have? Or not Jesus, but God. And stuff like that. So I'm going to be...
Do a section on slavery, please.
Yeah. I'm slowly, because there's like so many contradictions and questions and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm slowly working through it, so it's gonna be a fun time writing all the episodes. And what I do in the episodes, with the exception of the kickoff episode, what I do is I go through and I explain like every single verse, like what this verse says, and I do it not reciting the verse, but summarizing the verse and funny, colorful ways. But I pretty much just take each verse and I discuss each one and how it supports either the yes position or the no position as far as the Christian dogma goes. So that's one thing I'm going to be doing. And then, of course, I've got the 5 fun facts that we already discussed. I'm going to be extending that to the other candidates. Hopefully I can get to them before they drop out of the race, because we've already lost Perry and Walker. Hopefully Rand Paul's not going to drop out before I get to him and some other things. So, and with that series, pretty much what I do is I go to Google and I type in, Ben Carson. But I don't start at the very front of the Google search. I go to like page 20. I go all the way back and I try to find some facts or whatnot about stuff they've said in the past that would be relevant now. So, because for those of you that haven't watched the Ben Carson one, apparently Ben Carson tried to stab a student, a classmate of his, when he was younger. And a lot of people had a problem with the Ben Carson video. I mean, they downvoted it heavily. I think that just a bunch of conservatives got on there and was like, I don't like them messing with my candidate.
But I want to see what happens when you do the Donald Trump one.
Yeah, that one's going to be fun. But I get that. Of course, the logical fallacies, the ones that I have planned on coming up is Vigilant Christian. He talks about the how Hitler isn't a Christian and how the no true Scotsman fallacy doesn't apply. I'm going to be pointing out the fallacies of him saying it's not a fallacy. And then, the State of Daniel, he's got a number of videos out that are pretty good examples of some that are kind of hard to tell. Like the next one that I've got planned is a special pleading, and that's part of the video that I've already done a fallacy video on. Of course, Joshua Feuerstein's an endless supply of fallacies. And then there's that new pastor, Pastor Locke. He's got about 100,000 followers on Facebook, and he posts videos kind of like Feuerstein, except he knows how to hold his camera correctly, his camera phone. And he's got a few things up that I am going to be responding to as well. Is there anything in particular that you guys want me to cover, like on the like I know Jeremy wants me to cover the slavery bit on the Bible questions videos. Are there any particular fallacies that you guys want me to cover, like anything that maybe you don't encounter normally?
Don't encounter normally. God, I encounter so many. I don't know which ones I don't. Otherwise, I was thinking maybe like argumentum ad populum, but that one's really popular.
That's-
There is by the way, I'm going to take this opportunity to stand up and show my Godless Engineer T-shirt if I can. There you go.
Yes, the recycled stars. Yes, that's something that Paul got as a result of being a patron. I'll send out what I do is I send out little bits of swag every month, and this month it's going to be a very apostacon type of swag. So I'm working on that right now.
What exactly does this T-shirt mean? Because I'm not really understanding what the recycling thing is.
There's this notion that we're all made of recycled stardust. Recycled
Okay.
stars. Because stars they cook the elements and they spew it out across the universe, and then they reform, and they pretty much formed our world, and then we came up and whatnot. So we're made out of star stuff. We're made out of stardust.
Okay.
So we're
Yeah.
recycled stars is what it's supposed to be. It's also a pretty good way to hide some anti-religion sciencey stuff like out in public, because people will be like, what does that mean?
I actually really like that idea. Both Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson both said it very, very well about how we are just star stuff. And if you want to see an interesting video, look up on YouTube sometime when you have a chance. Look up Neil deGrasse Tyson, most astounding fact, and he very poetically explains this. And I actually wrote a poem based upon that. So I really like that video. It's one of my favorites on the
Cool.
internet.
Yeah,
I'll check
So-
it out.
yeah, and I'm glad that you finally got it. It took so long to get it to you, but yeah. So
Well,
go ahead.
Just to go back to what you were saying about fallacies, I've always had a bit of a issue with the no true Scotsman fallacy. It's kind of like I've read up on it and I've tried to understand it, and it keeps kind of going over my head. And I hear people giving it to me, and I'm like, I don't understand. So if you could explain that to me, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll try to explain it right now, and then I'll write up a logical fallacy episode where I bring in some actual real ones. Which actually, that vigilant Christian one would be a good one. So, but I'll go ahead and I'll explain it now the best I can. And it also give me an idea if I'm explaining it good enough. So basically, you know how the Christians in general, they like to separate out their faith into different denominations.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like when one set of Christians say, "Oh, you're not a Christian because you don't follow my certain type of Christianity, so therefore you're not Christian." So basically, they're saying because you don't interpret it the same way I do, that means that you're not Christian. And so that would be a no true Scotsman fallacy. It's basically saying that because you implement the faith differently than I do, that means that you're not part of this faith. And that's just not real. It comes from the idea that saying that, oh, because you live in this area of like Scotland or somewhere, you're not a true Scotsman. You're not really a Scots.
I can throw
Right.
in another one, like
Okay.
when many Muslims from around the world denounce the actions of, let's say, ISIS, and they say, Islam is actually a religion of peace. So since these people are committing atrocities, they don't really believe in Islam. ISIS, they don't really believe in us. They're not true Muslims because we believe in a religion of peace. They believe in chopping people's heads off. We do not follow the same faith. That would be a no true Scotsman.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a no true Scotsman if like they created a whole separate religion or something like that off of it, because then that would be an accurate statement. But with the fact that Christianity in general has such a big dogma, and the Christians and Muslims with the Quran have separated it out, cherry-picked it so much, you can't say that they aren't implementing it the same way, because then you're saying, well, your interpretation's wrong, my interpretation's right.
Or like if somebody from, let's use American politics as one, like if somebody was to say, if you don't vote for candidate A, you're not a true Republican or Democrat.
Yeah. And more recent thing, which was on my video that I posted today, Mike Huckabee said that Barack Obama isn't a true Christian only because he invited LGBT people into the White House to meet the Pope.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so
yeah,
that's a pretty good example, too.
That's a really good example, actually.
Yeah. So, okay. But let's see. To kind of move forward a little bit. I would like to hear your ideas for people that I can interview, because I'm going to be starting up the interview series again. And right now I have Amanda. Hold on, I forget her last name. I suck already. Amber Barnhill. She is the mom who spoke up in it was in the Midwest of the United States. She spoke up about some shady dealings going on at her children's school, and she was a Christian, but she believed in a secular government, and the backlash that she got from the Christian community actually convinced her and got her, not convinced her, but pushed her towards atheism until the point of her actually becoming an atheist. And so I'm
funny how that works.
Yeah, I know, right? That kind of plays into my idea that Christianity today is really cannibalizing itself.
Yeah.
And like I know Matt Dillahunty actually doesn't think that it's actually cannibalizing itself, that this is just the natural process of it. But I mean, to me, it seems to be cannibalizing itself, because you got one group that's eating, like the fundamentalists are eating the progressive ones. And, I think that the fundamentalists are kind of opening up the eyes of the more moderate or progressive Christians to like the actual dogma of Christianity.
Yeah, well, what happened, like when I was a kid, my parents took me to church and stuff like that for a little while, but they were Episcopalians, and so I got to see everything from a very liberal sense. Like it wasn't hardcore fundamentalism. It was like people got together for a couple hours on Sunday, and then they all went did their own thing, and nobody talked about their faith for like the rest of the week. So if I was presented the way that I grew up, if I wasn't an atheist from birth, which I never actually believed, that stuff would have pushed me away. And I could understand that probably a lot of people I went to church with, they probably would have pushed them away as well.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I grew up with God being kind of a dub position, but it's not like I was all that devout in it. Like it just never occurred to me that God didn't exist, or God, there's a possibility that God couldn't exist. And as soon as that possibility came into my brain, it's like, oh yeah, of course, that's ridiculous. Let's see, another person that I'm really trying hard to get on an interview is Armored Skeptic. Trying to get him on there. I'm trying to get the Bible Reloaded. I'm trying to do something with them.
also try Logic.
Yeah, I have him added on Skype. He said that he just has a lot of trouble getting some free time. So I'm trying. I've got him on there. I've got Armored Skeptic. I've got his contact information. I'm going to try to get an interview with him. And then, is there anybody else that you guys would like to see me interview or re-interview?
There's one person I'd like to see you talk to, Tracy Harris from the Atheist Experience. You spoke
I
to
like
Matt.
her.
You spoke to Matt a couple of times. Tracy's really great. She's got a fantastic mind, and she gets to the nub of the issue really quickly, and she's erudite, and she can articulate herself very quickly and explain herself very well. So if it was possible for you to talk to her about anything really based on theology, that'd be great. I'd really enjoy that.
I've got one that from your recent blog. How about Jacqueline Glenn? Even though I'm not a fan of her, I think that she could be good because of all the controversy surrounding her right now. That might be good for reviews.
Well, yeah, and I know I have. It seems like I have a particularly unique view on the situation. It almost seems because it just seems.
I'm actually in your corner on that one, even though I would like to see everybody be right and say fuck this bitch. But I'm sorry, but I'm not a big fan of hers at all. But I think you're absolutely right that you shouldn't jump on the fuck Jacqueline bandwagon until you have all the facts.
Well, yeah, true. And
you might be the catalyst to bring all that shit out. She said stuff on the other side, but I know you, and you won't ask loaded questions where it makes her look good.
Oh yeah, true. At least I'll try not to. I usually ask questions that are really in the moment, and I have a baseline set of questions, but then I try to ask things that kind of come up in natural conversation. So, which I know that she's already addressed it on the Drunken Peasant, so I'm not sure if she'll want to come on and really talk about that all that much. But I'm fairly certain that I can get her to come on. I mean, I've met her before, and she was pretty nice to me then, so I'm sure that she's
popular, so
yeah,
that might help you out no matter what you talk about. So
yeah. But Hector in the comments said Devin Tracy. I don't think Devin will come on and talk to me. He's blocked me on Twitter. He doesn't want to have anything to do with me. I think.
Who is he?
He's Atheist Rue. Atheism is Unstoppable.
Oh yeah,
okay.
He's got 3 of my accounts banned. So or blocked. So
right. Okay.
He's not a fan of us. Let's just put it that way.
And I'm still getting crap on the Atheism is Unstoppable logical fallacy video too. They're still giving me a bunch of crap about that. Not any rational person. I'm talking about his little flying monkey fan club.
I mean the little stupid little sexist, racist monkeys that follow him around.
Which one person that I think that I might want to really interview about the situation is the Canadian atheist. He's actually become a pretty hefty target of Atheist Rue, and I really don't know why. I mean, it's gotten to the point where Rue has pretty much threatened to slander and put out like false information on him, so that whenever you search his name, it'll come up with like these disparaging images.
Oh wow! Yeah. How about the people who he doxed?
Well, I know I'm fairly certain he doxed the Bible Reloaded guys.
Yeah. So there might be some good people to talk to as well.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to get the Bible Reloaded on there. They said that they're not. They usually don't talk about political stuff. I'm fairly certain that they would be more than happy to talk about the whole Devin Tracy situation. But yeah, I'm trying to get them on there definitely. Is there anybody else that you guys that like on the social media or whatnot that you guys would have never really seen an interview of that would like to see an interview with? Like any popular YouTubers you follow or anything or any pages?
How about David McAfee?
Oh yes, that is a good one. I've been meaning to get him on to talk about his belief book.
Yeah, again, I'm not really a huge fan of his, but he's he's a good guy. I don't really see what he says all too intellectually based, but he does happen to say the right things that other people have said. But again, he's popular, so he might be somebody people might want to listen to talk.
I I could name one or two people who are popular, but I have a feeling that you probably won't be able to talk to them. Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins. If you got them on your channel, I think that'd be awesome.
Godless asked me, can you ask Dusty Smith how he became so popular while being a total douchebag? Good question.
Well, I think that it's because people like D-bags.
That's why people like me?
Yeah.
No shit.
That's why I'm not gaining as many subscribers, is because I'm not a D-bag. Maybe I should try to be more D-bag-like. No, I like the route. I like the route that I'm going. But it's been an hour. So to close this out, I'd like to hand you guys the floor again. Let me know what are your thoughts on where should I go? Is there anything that I should really cool my boots on, basically, or is there anything that I should do more of?
Go ahead.
Who, me? Well, I just really enjoy the interviews that you procure. You obviously do a lot of work and you reach out to people. I think if you keep doing that, that's the right direction to go.
Okay.
I don't really have anything to add. If I have any kind of opinion or want to say anything, I talk to you on a near daily basis. So, but yeah, I do like the interviews. I do like the way that you're setting it up by subject rather than person. So keep doing that because that's how I like to search for things, especially on your channel. The Did Jesus Exist series, if you can get back into that, that'd be awesome. Yeah. I really am enjoying that. That's one of my favorite series that you've ever done. So I really enjoy that. But yeah, like you said, you do a lot. So I don't know. And I'm a part of what you do 2 or 3 days a week. So I don't really know what else to add to that. If anybody else has any ideas, please leave them in the comments or whatever, so he can check them out.
Yeah, and apparently Max Break in the live comments said that he's UK based and Richard Dawkins would do it, and that his contact email is on his website. So I'll definitely have to email him and see how that goes. See if I can get him on there. Of course, I got to figure out. I got to figure out how I can talk to him and get him on there. So. Or not how, but what kind of topics I want to talk to him about. Because I know that he just recently put out a book, so that would be interesting to talk about is his book. But it probably would help if I read it first. But anyways, all right. Well, I really appreciate you guys joining me today for this Patron Hangout. And I hope that you guys can make it next month. And if you're in the comment section, you're watching this right now, consider becoming a patron. I provide some exclusive content on Wednesdays for you guys. And 1AK got here a little late. but I provide some exclusive content there. It also helps me with my game streams. It helps me with the website. It helps me just all around make better content. The Patreon stuff. So if you will consider becoming a patron, it only takes about $1 to get the patron feed. So consider that. And I've also got swag that I dole out every month if you pledge just enough. So consider all that. But anyways, I will see you guys later. Again, thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
All right, so let's stop. Yeah, bye.